Okay, the subject of chapter 10 is 2 Asian leaf warblers. Well, it kind of includes another one, really, 3. So Rad's warbler, which is a regular vagrant in northwest Europe, and the yellow-streaked warbler, which has never been recorded in the Western Palearctic. And of course, we mentioned dusky warbler as well in the subject. And by the way, thanks to Graham Catley, who provided that opening photo, and in fact 2 of these here are his as well, of a bird in Lincolnshire. Rad's warblers in the autumn vary a little bit. Some are very yellow, they're assumed to be young birds. This is the same one here. Lovely clean yellowy underparts, a bit paler on the throat, very yellow in the supercilium. Here's a different bird that's not so yellow, more kind of a rich buffy tone, and off-whites in the underparts, but still a Rad's warbler. Now it's interesting that about a quarter of Rad's warblers are caught in mist nets, and the same goes for duskies, which means they don't get found, which means there's probably even more not found. And what are the chances of missing a super rare vagrant like the yellow-streaked? Well, bear with me as I tell a little story. So arriving at Flamborough to see a brown shrike a number of years ago, and I missed it. I was a day too late. But somebody did find a Rad's warbler up at the Timoneer Hotel, as it's called. I went to see it, and I jammed in on kind of having a guess at where I thought the bird might be away from the crowds, and there it was right in front of me as I waited behind a bit of a hedge in a little nettle patch. Now what struck me was, it was a nice, smart-looking bird, but I could see that the underparts had yellow streaks in them. And here's the bird again. You can see what I mean. It actually looks like there's lines of yellow streaking. And I knew that there was a warbler from Southeast Asia called a yellow-streaked warbler. And I wondered, how do you tell them apart from Rads? And I realised it's a subject that's not very well known. So in the end, due to the fact that we did hear it called, I think it was a Rad's warbler, but an educational bird nevertheless. Again, here's a couple of Rads, a more yellowy bird, thanks to Ottenby Bird Observatory, and again, this one was trapped just up the road from me last autumn. Rads with dingier underparts below. And here's a yellow-streaked. And how do you do them? Well, we're still learning. In fact, there's 2 types of yellow-streaked, and they might be separate species. Thanks to Matt for this photograph. You'll see it in the book. And these lovely images by Phil Palmer of yellow-streaked warbler. Would you know how to tell one from a Rad's? Here's a yellow-streaked in the hand. Different photographs by James Kennelly, Peter Kennelly, and by Phil Round. I much appreciate those guys for these pictures of yellow-streaked warbler. It really is a potential vagrant, and we need to learn the calls. It's one of the best ways of finding dusky Rads or yellow-streaked. Here's a little close-up view. Schwartzii, that's Rad's warbler. Perplexus, that's the southern form of yellow-streaked warbler. And careful looking at it, you find they have this brown band across here with the yellow streaks just centered on the actual feathers. And here's a northern form, Almandii. Well, one to think about.